What's up, everyone? Welcome back to GameSpot. Sorry about that false intro. Don't worry. It was Mary Kish. We have fired her immediately. She is leaving GameSpot. No, just kidding. She is leaving GameSpot, though. But anyway, welcome back to the lobby. This is our new time at 11 a.m. on Wednesdays. We're so glad you could join us. Thank you so much to the people who are joining us for our first episode here. It's kind of a temporary set. We are kind of changing up the set dressing a little bit. But in general, this is going to be the new time. And we got a lot of questions from the past few days about Nintendo Switch, things we're going to talk about. First off, Pete Brown, you're always here pretty much, unfortunately.
Sorry.
But it's nice to have you again.
Is it?
Yeah. Pete Brown, for those of you who don't know, is reviews editor here at GameSpot. And Kelly.
Hey.
Kelly Plaguey. Okay, I thought so. You're the associate editor here at GameSpot.
I am.
You came over from IGN. You've been freelancing before that. You're pretty experienced. But now we are lucky enough to have you here at GameSpot. And good episode to introduce you with in terms of you're a Nintendo fan.
I am.
Or you know Nintendo pretty well. I don't want to say we're biased or anything.
I'll put her in a box.
Okay, yeah, she's a Nintendo. She's the Nintendo fan here at GameSpot. But anyway, quick, I just wanted to get a few housekeeping things. So, in terms of the new format of the show, I kind of want to start off every episode with, like if you saw before, we actually had our mics on during that kind of black and white intro before the show went up. That's just kind of to get us warmed up, and we figured we're always just talking about secret embargo stuff, so why not just leak it all to you guys?
What did we leak today?
No, I was just
Ulysses S. Grant's
that is his middle name.
Non-existent middle name.
Yeah, but you didn't believe me, so we'll do history lessons every once in a while like that. No, but yeah, we just wanted to make it, like I said, more conversational, involve the audience more, so that's just kind of an effort to do that. And we also have, we're going to be doing more giveaways. We have this whole storage room full of random shit from a lot of different, games, a lot of cool collector's editions, and we get those, and we don't always get the chance to give them away to our audience, so we want to do that more. So, to that effect, we have a Diablo figure, which we're going to be giving away on Friday. We have a link on GameSpot that should be live right now. If you follow GameSpot on Twitter, they will be tweeting it right now. Shiva, she's in charge of our Twitter account. She's also new, so if you see her on Twitter, say hi to her. We will be giving these away on Friday, but there's a link you can go to on GameSpot. We'll be tweeting it. I think we'll be in the chat on Twitch right now. If you're on Twitch, if you're on YouTube, apologies. I think we're mainly... GameSpot will be putting the link in the Twitch chat, so you can go check that out. It's not only that figure; it's also there are 100 codes for the new hero Zul'jin in Heroes of the Storm. I think he's a Warcraft character,
Okay.
right? Yeah,
Sure.
Yes, he is. He or she is Zul'jin. So the codes are pretty much available in most countries. Let me double check that. The figure, unfortunately, is only North America. So if you're not in North America, apologies. But the codes will work if you are in North America, Latin America, Australia, New Zealand, and Southeast Asia only. So apologies to our friends in
Northwest Asia.
This is not your day.
Only other place.
But anyway, yeah, I'll recap that again at the end of the episode if I remember. And Friday we will be picking the winners through that link. So anyway, thank you very much. Another thing I want to do at the beginning of episodes is kind of go through a newsreel. So every beginning of the week now, when we're going through deciding what to talk about in the lobby in terms of bigger segments that'll go on YouTube later, or just things we want to talk about, the bigger news from the week, a lot of smaller news slips by. So I figured we'd do a newsreel, kind of go through things that have happened that don't really warrant 12-minute discussions. There's a few today and from last weekend I wanted to go through. First off, this was only a couple hours ago that we heard Ubisoft bought Freestyle Games, DJ Hero, Guitar Hero Live developer.
Okay.
It's not it's not huge, but now Ubisoft has some Activision's. That was Activision's main rhythm game, music game developer. So
yeah, but that genre is kind of tanked lately.
Yeah.
And isn't Ubisoft also about to be purchased, or at least taken over by Vivendi or something like that?
I think so. So who knows? Because they said they're renaming Ubisoft Leamington. They said they're going to be working alongside other their other AAA games. So I don't know if they're going to just use them as a to supplement development on bigger Ubisoft games, but yeah, I don't know. Super weird.
Maybe Switch Music games. Maybe that'll be the platform for this stuff to live on.
Maybe because we had quotes from the Ubisoft CEO talking about the Switch and how, but he didn't sound too stoked on the Switch. He was saying
he's yeah, whatever.
$300. Yeah, I don't know. We'll talk about that later. And then just smaller thing. Microsoft no longer shares Xbox One sales figure, but a new report from research group Superdata claims that the console reached 26 million units sold since launch November 2013. And that was spotted by Gaming Bolt. But it was published in a report about the Nintendo Switch, addressing the entire video game market. It also claimed the PS4 has an install base of nearly 55 million units, and that's slightly above the 53.4 million units Sony officially disclosed earlier this month. So there's some numbers for you. Sounds like Sony's still doing well. Xbox.
They had a great year for hardware. I mean, if they're going to share their data any year, it would be this year, because I think a few months after the summer, they were dominating sales. But
for Microsoft.
Yeah, Microsoft was, right.
Especially but now we talked a couple weeks ago about, in general, what the future of Xbox One is after Scalebound being canceled, not a ton of first-party development coming out of it now.
Yeah, not a whole lot.
Because there's Gears of War 5, presumably Halo 6, whenever that gets announced. But yeah, so we'll see. Anyway, okay, and then good segue. Another Legend of Zelda game might eventually come to Nintendo Switch after Breath of the Wild.
Get out of here! What? Nintendo would make more Zelda games?
Says producer. Dude, AG Aonuma said it, so it must be true. In an interview with IGN,
AKA Captain Obvious.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of Captain Obvious, let me tell you what else he said. I haven't been able to fully use all of the new features of the Switch, he said. There could be possibility of another Zelda on Nintendo Switch. And then when asked about what a new Zelda game could do differently to build on Breath of the Wild, listen to this scoop. I think the core element of Zelda gameplay kind of stays the same. Holy shit. There's the main character development, as well as characters you meet along the way, and then you learn new things as the character develops. Have you ever
this is
heard
all new to me.
Is this insane? How is the whole world not imploding after that kind of... He just described every boring story ever.
That's just basic narrative.
He just described my morning commute. Okay, anyway, enough of the newsreel. Let's get into our main segment today. Talk about the Nintendo Switch. We had a lot of questions in from readers. I will get to those, I promise. There's a bunch between GameSpot and Twitter and whatnot. But luckily enough, we have Pete here, who is at the reveal event. Well, I mean, not the reveal event, but the North American event in New York.
Yeah, the hands-on.
The hands-on event, right. Yeah. So we have a lot of questions for you. People have questions for you in terms of actually getting to play it and try things out. Just kind of want to go over basics first. Breath of the Wild released March 3rd. There's no bundles yet. They said they wanted to keep the price down. It's going to be $300, $299. What would that become in the UK? They said for the UK prices, or sorry, for Europe prices, check local retailers or something.
Right.
I don't know so who knows, but yeah, it will be $299 in the US over here, $300. Launch lineup: Breath of the Wild,
1-2 Switch,
1-2 Switch,
Super Bomberman R.
Let's go through these. So Breath of the Wild, I think people know what it is. The new Legend of Zelda will be Wii U and Nintendo Switch.
When you play that game, you meet characters along the way. You develop a story.
And then the characters change a little bit.
Oh, right. I forgot about that.
And
you'll change.
You learn more as they change.
This game has everything.
Yeah, it'll be it sounds like an epic.
Right. So, okay. That 1-2 Switch, which is a game that utilizes the Joy-Cons, which are the little handheld remote things that attach to the tablet. And it uses them in a lot of different ways.
That would be the one people know for the milking thing,
The
probably?
milking.
They had the dual.
Yes.
For those who don't know, and so we're not just talking about milking without context, can you explain that?
So the Joy-Cons, these controllers, they have motion. They can detect motion, and they have little cameras that can detect gestures in front of it. So some of the mini games make use of the various features. The milking one, it detects you're moving up and down and pressing buttons trying to milk a cow. And you're competing against someone else who's milking another imaginary cow. It sounds so weird, but one of the things about this game is that when you're doing it, you're basically faced forward looking at somebody else. Now, I don't even know how people deal with your close friends, but I can't stand to stare at Mike for more than a couple seconds before I feel awkward. Maybe that's just you, but
yeah, lucky for you, we sit across from each other.
Yeah, it's great. But imagine at a party, right? You and a total stranger are going to be milking imaginary cows while deadlocked in a stare. It's super weird.
I don't want to do that.
You'd be surprised though. It's a new feeling. It's definitely different than anything else I've experienced playing a video game.
Yeah, I was surprised this wasn't a bundle thing because it's sort of like a mini game compilation kind of style game, like party game, and you'd think in line with Wii Sports or Nintendo Land to a much lesser extent, obviously. I was really surprised that they didn't. And it's $50, I think.
Yeah, I'm also surprised.
Party game.
Yeah, there's a bunch of mini games. It's not just milking, right? There's one where you have to guess how many things are inside a little box by moving it and using the vibration. There's one where you have to eat in front of the controller by chewing as fast as possible. There's ping pong you can play. The list kind of goes on. There's a lot there. But yes, it's the showcase of technology, which you think would be a great thing for Nintendo to have with every Switch. Because then no matter where someone is, if they see Switch, they will play 1-2 Switch.
Like the Nintendo Land or the Wii Sports.
As she said, yeah. But Reggie, talked to him and he was like, well, by not including this game, we're giving people the chance to choose the games they want, and we're not raising the price of the system. He equated it more to Wii Play, which was that follow-up to Wii Sports that came out with Wii. But that also came at a time when there was new hardware, the Wii Motion Plus. So I don't really jive with his comparison, but it's certainly a fascinating game.
What do you guys think of other games they announced about? Like, were you a Splatoon fan, Callie?
Yeah, I played Splatoon. My biggest problem with Splatoon was the lack of voice chat, which I understand. But for a game where there's you can get a strategy together, you can be a heavy, or you can be kind of like the equivalent of a scout in TF2. Like, there's different loadouts you can do in Splatoon. There's actually layers to it. Not having that, like, I would just be on Skype with people that I knew, and it really limited the experience. And so for Switch, I know they have like that mobile app for voice chat. I don't know what the capability would be. So that would be the biggest thing I would be looking for in Splatoon 2. But I really enjoy Splatoon. It's fun. It's different.
Did you immediately know it was a sequel when they showed it at the reveal? Or because there were rumors about a port, right? So I thought that's what this was, and then with new weapons and characters. But then no, it's a complete sequel. I didn't play much Splatoon, so I would be the last person to know. But a few people in the office were like, "Oh, this is an entire sequel."
I was not expecting. I straight up thought it would be a port, because I feel like a lot of us expected that after kind of thinking, "Oh, Mario Kart 8 is going to be a port," which turned out to be sort of true. They get it's a deluxe edition instead, but I thought this was going to be a port, and I was like, "Nope, Splatoon." I wish they put a 2 in there.
There's so many opportunities for them to mess with the name. And this is coming, I think, September, so it's not quite a launch title.
Yeah.
To go back to what you were saying about using a smartphone app to do voice chat, basically the message is if you don't have a smartphone, your Switch experience is going to be lesser.
Yeah.
Like, multiplayer will probably not be a thing for you. Reggie basically said, well, if you don't have a smartphone, the Switch isn't for you when I talked to him, which is kind of crazy. His reasoning was, everywhere I go, kids as young as 5 have smartphones. So who doesn't have a smartphone? So who are we really leaving out? A lot of people.
Yeah, and it feels like some of the 1-2 Switch games that are, like trying to being like a proof of concept for the tech are geared toward like the family crowd and maybe the younger crowd, and I don't see how that lines up with their, you need a smartphone for this.
Yeah, I mean, like, I know, like, I have nieces and nephews who are 10 and under. They all have access to smart devices, but they're not really like theirs, right? Mm-hmm. So I think for kids, it's a good means for parents to sort of regain control over what their kids are doing. Mm-hmm. Like, you can set limits from your phone, like, okay, the system won't work after this time. Like, you can do stuff like that. But just very curious to see them, it's Nintendo, right? So we expect they're going to present hoops that people have to jump through to do things that other platforms have figured out a long time ago. I'm just surprised that it's tying it to another piece of hardware.
Yeah, I guess I can see like Nintendo expanding into the mobile market with Mario Run, and even the success of Pokemon Go sort of indicates that the equivalent of an install base is there for smartphone users and Nintendo, but it's still really bizarre. Like, a 3-year-old will use their parents' phone, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird to me.
From a business perspective, I get it, because to your point, it's sort of like solidifying Nintendo's relationship with mobile devices, right? So even away from Switch, you'll look at your phone and still have that subconscious idea of Nintendo in your hand, right? So you'll go to their other games. But for the average person, it just seems like it's going to be a pain in the ass.
What is the overall deal with online capabilities of the Switch? Because when they first explained it during the reveal, it was kind of cloudy.
They haven't really explained anything.
And they say it'll be a separate thing that will launch like a month after or something, if I'm not misremembering it?
Well, I don't know about the delayed launch, but there will be a free trial period for a certain time, like 6 months or something like that. And then people have to start paying. No idea about what it's going to cost or what you get with that.
Yeah, I think the subscriptions paid subscription starts in fall.
I
wrote that story. I should remember that.
Yeah. You will be getting one free Nintendo or Super Nintendo game every month with the service.
Okay.
But I thought it expires.
It expires.
Is it like a yearly thing? What do you mean by it expires?
After the month,
it's just a month.
It's gone.
Oh, the game does?
Right.
Oh, that's shitty. It's not like a PS Plus you own in your library.
I mean, it's shitty only if you consider the fact that PlayStation and Microsoft have sort of established these new norms.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, if you think about it just if you want to be positive about it, which is, I think, healthy in some cases, right? Like,
and uncharacteristic for you.
This is a thing that will bring people together around a specific Nintendo franchise at the right time to make them feel like there's a strong community, maybe before the launch of a new Zelda game or whatever. So it does suck they're taking it away, but they are actually introducing things for Super Nintendo games, like online multiplayer, which has never been a thing for Virtual Console before.
Sure.
So that's pretty exciting. yes, it sucks you'll lose these games, but virtual console games are cheap, right? $5 to $10.
What kind of
Maybe even
games
less.
would have multiplayer for Super Nintendo? Like Zombies Ate My
Mario
Neighbors
So
and
many
Mario
games.
Kart and Star Fox.
Street Fighter.
Yeah.
Right. That's hopefully like the library of the games they release is good, like month by month.
Well, hopefully. I mean, I think the biggest question right now is will your virtual console stuff from Wii and 3DS even transfer over?
Yeah, that's the frustrating
Right.
thing for me because I've bought many of these games
Yeah.
multiple times in my life, and so that's why it's frustrating that you don't get to keep it, that it expires. But obviously, I'm sure we're more of a unique case than maybe they're kind of thinking of people who maybe you try,
Yeah.
Super Metroid for the first time,
Right.
and then you kind of get into the series that way, and that's why it expires. I don't know. I understand the thinking there. It's just
Yeah.
I've paid $10 multiple times for the same games.
When I grew up, there was a service called Sega Channel through my cable provider where I could literally subscribe to Genesis games on a monthly basis. So I would get like 12 games a month that I could just play. At the end of the month, they'd change to new games. I didn't mind it. It was actually like a nice little natural way of giving me some variety. Yes, there were limitations involved, but at the same time, it forced me to try new things. So
Yeah, because that was what I was worried about. I have a lot of like virtual console games, and then I know like transferring between 3DSs when I got my XL, that was a pain. Getting like all those like Zelda games I had from my regular 3DS to the XL. I'm hoping they can figure out how to streamline all of that.
they have the My Nintendo account stuff like set in stone now, and that only came out about a year ago, I want to say. So it stands to reason that they've figured this out. They understand the criticisms. I would be shocked if your purchases don't carry over. Let's say that.
Yeah.
It would be a really bad PR move for Nintendo.
Absolutely.
So, and I also wanted to just kind of get your impressions with hands-on, because we saw a lot about the Joy-Con, and we saw that you can put ice cubes in it and shake it around. Did you? I mean, I'm assuming you watched the reveal the night before you went to the hands-on. What was the point of showing that?
So the rumble feature in the controllers, which they call HD Rumble, is different than what you'd imagine from a typical game controller. So the game I was describing earlier, and similar to the ice cube scenario, I had a little wooden, virtual wooden box with balls inside of it, and I had to tilt it various ways and like guess how many balls were in the box. So while tilting it, I could feel the balls like rolling down the controller, right?
Whoa.
And like hitting a certain spot. So you actually get a more tactile sensation that recreates some virtual thing in the palm of your hand. So the reason for showing that on the stream was to really communicate there's something different here, but it's really not until you get a hand on it that you actually understand like, oh yeah, this does feel different.
Do you see any like applications for that in the future with games outside of just that proof of concept?
I don't know.
I'm sure they would. I'm sure like maybe it'll be in Breath of the Wild somehow.
Oh, I mean, we're going to see it incorporated in a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of the key differentiators of the Switch. It's one of many, but I think Nintendo is, for better or worse, focused on highlighting the things that they're doing differently, right? I mean, for the worse, they made the gamepad a requirement for every Wii U game pretty much. This time it seems like it's softer, smaller features that they're going to highlight. So I think that they're going to continue that trend, but it just won't be as obtrusive.
In general, from your hands-on time, can you tell us what you thought about this? Just, I don't know, general terms, the Switch. How'd it feel between the Joy-Con and actually like playing it mobile, and also when it's docked and you playing on a TV?
Sure. So playing Breath of the Wild on a TV using the Pro Controller. Pro Controller is incredibly comfortable. I like it more than any other controller out there right now, which was a shock to me.
On any platform?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And the gameplay on the TV, they put me really close to it, so it's not a fair comparison necessarily, like playing on a couch. The game had a lot of jaggies. It didn't look that much better than a Wii U game. That said, I'm not surprised, right? I mean, this device is pretty thin. It's not purported to be twice as powerful as Wii U. It's just purported to be a portable game console. So in that sense, it's like, okay, Breath of the Wild is pretty much what we saw back at E3 on Switch. The difference being now that you can take it and play it on the go with the Joy-Cons and the tablet. Playing with the Joy-Cons attached felt a little strange. More comfortable than the gamepad, but still not quite natural. But if you use the kickstand in the back of the tablet and prop it on a table and disconnect the Joy-Cons and just hold one in each hand, that felt surprisingly good. So if I'm in a scenario where I can put the tablet down somewhere and actually detach those, I will do that before I will hold it in my hand.
Okay.
But when you go and you play a multiplayer game and you use the Joy-Cons as individual controllers, they feel a little strange.
Yeah.
For one, they are not the same setup. The joystick and the buttons are in different locations to accommodate when you do have it attached to the tablet. So in a 2-player scenario, it's a bit unconventional in that sense. Like you have to reach over to use the analog stick, kind of far.
Right, when they're attached, the analog on the right is going to be higher,
Well,
right?
it's oriented vertically rather than horizontally.
Sure.
So vertical is the priority. When it goes into a horizontal fashion, that's when it sort of shows like, yeah, this will work, but it's not ideal. But that said, pretty happy with the hardware overall. It feels, unlike the Wii U and even the Wii, it doesn't feel like a toy necessarily. It feels like a really nice piece of hardware throughout the various products that are involved.
Okay. But in general, was it easy to figure out everything between docking and going mobile? It's all pretty streamlined in terms of figuring out.
Completely intuitive.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
I mean, every game just reacted as I would hope when I disconnected or connected something.
What did you get to play aside from like Breath of the Wild and the 1-2 Switch stuff? Were those the only two?
No, I played Street Fighter, which is not that exciting. ARMS. We can talk about ARMS.
Yeah, because
Oh,
that was one we were talking about.
Yeah, I'm really curious about that actually.
Yeah. So this is a game that you don't have to use the motion controls with, but that was the only way I could play it. So that's the only way I can really speak to it. And so you sort of, do you guys know Virtual On, the old Sega series?
No.
So it was a twin stick game where you had like two like flight sticks, let's say, and you had to use them to like move robots, kind of like tanks in a way. So this kind of mimics those same controls. So with Joy-Con in each hand, you tilt both hands in one direction to move your character that way. And then through various button presses and motions, you direct them to jump, punch, parry, or unleash like a super attack. It doesn't seem like it's an intuitive game, but give it just 10 minutes and you actually pick it up pretty easily. Mastering it is not so simple, but being able to be an effective boxer, that comes pretty quick.
I do like the idea of kind of delayed attacks because of the length of the match. So you have to actually lead someone or, like actually think a step ahead rather than just like a fighting game, which is very reactionary.
Correct.
Not that good fighting game players will be thinking a step ahead, but ARMS especially because of the distance between the two fighters looks kind of interesting.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely like you get into that moment where you're like, where like time slows down and you have to kind of think about like, okay, what are my options? What are they going to do? When you screw up and you get punished, it feels bad. But when you succeed because you thought of a strategy and enacted it effectively, it feels pretty great.
Yeah, and that it was weird. ARMS will be releasing when?
June?
'Cause I think we assumed it was a launch title when they showed it to us.
Right,
For some
no,
reason, but
it's not.
yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's June.
Yeah. So launch title in general will be 1-2 Switch, Zelda,
Super Bomberman R.
Bomberman. Did you play that at all?
No, didn't get a chance to.
I'm a huge like Bomberman 64 days.
Yeah. Prepare to pay $60 for Bomberman.
I probably won't.
I know.
I don't know. Are you guys? Did you pre-order a Switch, Callie?
Are
you planning on it?
I couldn't get it. I was really busy writing stories.
But you want to?
I want to. I want to get it, but I couldn't get a pre-order. And I really want the Zelda Master Edition. I couldn't get that either.
Yeah, that's one that actually comes with the Master Sword fifth statue. Right?
I want it
statuette.
so bad.
In general, I think the joke right now is that the Switch is like a Zelda machine at launch.
It's like you're paying $350 to play Zelda.
Yeah.
But you know what? Like I said before, it looks exactly like the Wii U version. So if you're on the fence and you're like, oh, I've got to play Zelda, don't worry if you've got a Wii U. Just honestly, you could play it there and be happy, I think.
I was playing Wind Waker HD on the Wii U last night, and I was saying, you know what game looks the same as this? Like in terms of visuals, like Breath of the Wild kind of doesn't look all that much better. I mean, it looks gorgeous. It's a gorgeous art style and whatnot, but
yeah, no, it's a great aesthetic. It's vibrant. It's clean. It's very cartoony and charming, but it's not like a technically demanding representation.
I mean, you're a huge anime fan, Callie. You said the trailer that we saw for Breath of the Wild, the longer one, was very anime.
It was super anime. I was really surprised. It was like a Ghibli. I get yelled at a lot for Ghibli or Ghibli. I don't know.
I say Ghibli.
I say Ghibli. But it was really Ghibli.
It's Ghibli.
Oh yeah, you're right. It is.
It's Ghibli.
No, well, as a kid I said Ghibli, but you're right. Anyway, that's not really what we're talking about. But yeah, it was super anime. Especially like Zelda crying was like the most anime crying I've ever seen from
just weeping, but
like a
sounding
game.
like
yeah.
Like not that big deal.
Yeah, so I don't know. That made me more excited. I was already super excited. I was gonna say I probably will play it on my Wii U just so my Wii U gets some use and so I can justify the money I put into it. But I really want the Master Edition. I might be that person who buys the Master Edition and then just plays it on Wii U. But I want the Master Sword. So like that's to give you a picture of how in deep I am with this game already.
Did you get the chance to play it at E3 last year?
I
with
did.
IGN? Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. It
Yeah,
was like
I think I played it twice. I went back.
It was a lot of people at GameSpot before you got here, like favorite game at E3. Just like that was, we came back to the War Room at E3 and it was pretty open demo. So we all came back and already after just an hour each with the game or 40 minutes or something, whatever it was, we were all talking about these crazy things we did that we had no idea you could do, like these emergent situations.
Well, like everybody did a different thing. So I went back with Miranda Sanchez, who's at IGN, and she did a different thing. And she picked up where I left off, and she went to a mountain that I didn't even find, and like went sailing across a lake, and it was just really cool that everybody found a different thing in that demo. And so I was really excited. Like I can't wait to explore that game on my own time and really see everything there is to do and try different recipes. And like there's just so many layers to it.
Yeah.
And that's really exciting for me. I like the openness of it. But I didn't really get to do there's like mini dungeons. I like started one and then my time was up.
There's like 100 of them, right?
Yeah.
My main time was spent going at like doing the stealth around the enemy camps, Bokoblin or Moblin camps or whatever they're called, and then just like stealing their weapons before they could get them because they didn't have their weapons in hand. They were just sitting around a fire.
Why would they? Yeah, they're just hanging out.
It was cool. I like that a lot. And then I tried the cooking briefly. Didn't really get it.
He hums.
Figure it out.
He hums during the cooking. It's so cute.
He's like a hobbit making potatoes.
So good.
What's taters? Taters. Damn it.
Boil them, mash them, stick them in a stew. Just side note, if you're going to download Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild digitally, this also leads me to another question that a lot of people had in terms of memory and whatnot. But Breath of the Wild, if you download digitally, will take up over 40% of the console's base 32 gig internal storage.
Yeah.
And that's not even taking into account like how much the OS takes up. So it's like, I think it's 32 gigs.
You're at like half already.
Yeah, and so it's 13 on Wii U and 13.4 on Switch.
Yeah.
And so that doesn't even account for how much the OS will take up. So you'll have probably even less than 60% left.
Yep.
If that makes sense.
So a lot of people asked actually, so this is probably a good time to get to the reader questions and whatnot. Obviously, I don't know if you can answer all of these, but from your experience and from your experience covering it and whatnot, they did ask, so external hard drives will be supported right at launch.
No, dude.
They're not. That's what people are asking.
No, but micro XDHC cards will.
Okay.
And I might be wrong. The limit is either 2 terabytes or 256 gigabytes. I don't think they have 2 terabyte SD cards, but I could be way off. I think I saw that in an article yesterday and it made me scratch my head. But 256 gigabytes is definitely available. So you can buy those and you can, quadruple your space or more.
Okay. Yeah, a few people asked that. That was from Bob Jones 198 on Twitter though. He was asking
Bob Jones.
he was asking if Switch dock would support external hard drives. Then he asked if Pokemon Stars will be a Switch game.
This game's not confirmed.
It's not confirmed at all.
I think that was mainly a joke from him, but I figured I'd ask anyway. Did you hear whether there's like a trophy system in place with the Switch?
No. People suggested that I asked that, but I didn't have enough time. I'm not talking to Reggie.
Okay, because I haven't heard any news. I don't know if you did, Callie.
I haven't heard anything.
Okay,
Yeah.
because Andrew Jelly on Twitter was asking. And
That's not really Nintendo style. So I mean, if I had to guess, I would say that probably wouldn't be. Nintendo's just not about that.
What are the things that the Wii U has, like badges or something? What are the Nintendo badges? I don't know the Wii U super well.
But they're
you
changing
get stickers in games that you can
maybe
use
that's
on
what I'm thinking
Miiverse.
But they're changing all that. Miiverse is gone. Street Pass is not a thing.
Yeah.
But again, these My Nintendo accounts exist, and correct me if I'm wrong, but Super Mario Run does have like a small achievement like system, right?
Does.
Yeah. So if that's any indication, maybe there will be.
I don't know. They don't. I know Nintendo kind of likes to put that on the back burner because
Right.
like it's more about the experience than showing off like how much you completed, which is just. I mean, historically that's their style. So if they did, I imagine it would be kind of more hidden or more minor.
Sure.
But I don't know.
And that was Joshua Harmon on Twitter. Thank you for the question about the trophies or achievements or a Nintendo equivalent. And then I wanted to ask someone, I just kind of wanted to touch on the price itself, which we brought it up, obviously, but Syike on GameSpot was saying prior to the latest Switch event was the first time I've been open to a new Nintendo console in a while. I haven't owned one since N64. I'm heavily a PC console player and haven't owned a mobile system since the Game Boy Color, but the idea of a device that combines the two sounded great to me, with Zelda and Mario to boot. But then that was until the latest streaming event. $300 sounds like too much to me, particularly with no packaged game. That's putting in competition with PS4, Xbox One, both of which have SKUs easily acquired at around $250 with a bundle game and are much more powerful. And it doesn't compete with the 3DS, which can be found cheaper. Ultimately, I'd be paying $360 for Zelda, which just isn't a big enough driver. So Syek wanted to know what you guys think of the price and lack of bundle options.
I think we talked about the lack of bundled stuff.
Yeah.
You know, Switch 1-2 Switch is a no-brainer. So that's dumb. That's not included.
Yeah.
I don't buy the comparison to PS4 and Xbox One because this is a totally different product. This is not a system that's like, hey, we're a powerful gaming system and we're going to have all the third-party games you love. Come play them here and not those other places. No, this is look, we're a Nintendo machine. We've got some really weird, interesting stuff going on that you can't do anywhere else. So naturally, you're paying more for these bits of hardware that aren't just the tablet itself. So yeah, I mean, $300 does seem a little bit high, but if you consider the cost of NVIDIA's Shield tablet, which I think is $200, basically it's the same tech. The Switch is a little bit smaller in terms of dimensions, but again, Nintendo's packaged in a lot of extra stuff. I think $250 could have worked. $300 doesn't seem too far out of left field.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I put my money on $250 when we were kind of getting our predictions together, but I don't think $300 is outrageous.
What do you guys think this, in terms of the Switch being kind of also obviously like a living room console, but also a mobile device? What will this mean for like 3DS and whatnot, things like that?
Totally different experiences.
You don't think they compete at all?
No, I don't think they will compete at all. The 3DS is compact enough, depending on the model, you can fit it in your pocket. You will not do that with Switch unless you're stupid, because you'll probably drop that thing or sit on it. It's just too big to live inside of a pocket. Even then, the 3DS is super portable. It's got better battery life. It's got a lot of games built into it. You don't want to play console experiences the same way you want to play a 3DS game, which has typically tailored experiences for portable gaming, right? So maybe you only have 15 minutes on the bus, right? You're not going to want to jump into Mario Odyssey for 15 minutes when you can play something that's built to be fulfilling within that limited amount of time.
So you see the Switch more as, in terms of being mobile, you see that more as like a road trip device, or like playing in a different room of the house?
It's
or
a matter
something?
it's a matter of convenience rather than it's real identity, I think. It's a convertible. It's not a portable.
Yeah, like for me, the main draw is I'm super nearsighted, and so my TV is like slightly too far for certain games, and so having the option to bring it closer is very different than bringing my 3DS on BART and playing Pokemon for 20 minutes on my commute and being done with it and kind of like being satisfied versus playing Skyrim and just having it closer to my face.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't, when I'm using a 3DS, I don't really play like 3DS on my commute or anything like a lot of people do. I can't really get into a game the same way that I might if I'm at home, obviously. But I don't know, the Switch seemed like, when I heard about the Switch, I thought, oh, that's awesome. I can keep playing something. It sounds like what I thought the Wii U was originally supposed to be, something I could take on the go, which was my main concern with the Switch. It's really, I'm probably going to pre-order it, and I love Zelda, and I think I just want to be back on Nintendo's side, or at least I'm always rooting for Nintendo, but I want to get back, like I want to be involved again. And the Switch is my chance to do that, especially considering Zelda's launching with it. I try to play every Zelda like day one, but I was really hoping it would actually be actually like a mobile / kind of living room experience. But of course, that doesn't make sense for them because the 3DS does really well for Nintendo. So why would they step on their other foot by doing that?
Right. I mean, look at the battery life. It's 3 hours tops, pretty much. So, I mean, yes, you can hook up a battery if you want, like a USB battery, and power this thing on the go. But back to your point about the Wii U anyway, about it being portable, even just within a home, a Wii U gamepad is not as portable as it should be.
No.
Like, I can never get a good signal whenever I try to do that remote play. So now there's just no questions. Like you're not jumping through any sort of like weird technological hoops to do it. You just pick it up, play it, put it down, attach the controllers. That's it. There's no caveats.
Yeah, and I do want to go back to what you said about this is what the Wii U, what we all thought it was supposed to be. And I sort of see them kind of expanding on that idea and improving upon it. And I do think the portability throughout the house is part of that. Like if you're sharing a TV, if you are in the living room and like somebody else wants to play a different console or watch TV or whatever it is, having the ability to move unlimited versus the Wii U. I couldn't even go into, like, when I was in an apartment, I couldn't go from the living room to my bedroom. Like, it just didn't work. And so I think that's another factor versus taking it outside and going to a completely new location with it.
Yeah, because once I played, I don't know, like Wind Waker HD, I realized, this tablet is just supplementing the experience of TV. I can see my map and everything. And then if I want to be like in my kitchen next to the living room, I can play it for like a few minutes while I'm cooking something. But yeah, I'm not going to be able to take this on the bus or anything. But not that I would take a gamepad on the fucking bus, but it's still.
Somebody would.
I guess they would. But I guess speaking of battery power, Josh Shaw, former GameSpot, was asking, can you charge the cable while playing the TV, or does it need to be docked for the 3-hour battery life?
That's what I was saying earlier. You can use battery.
Oh, you did mention it. Okay.
Yeah. As long as the amperage is correct, you can charge it while playing it.
Okay, cool. And then I guess my last question before we close out this segment, kind of a loaded question, but the point of the segment is, what do you think the Switch? Are you optimistic now that the Switch is announced, or do you think it's? I don't think it's too little, too late, but I'm of the opinion, like I said, it seems very much like what I thought they were going for with the Wii U, and it seems like they're going for the same audience they were going for with the Wii U.
If I was to believe Reggie during his interview where he said that, okay, our biggest failing with the Wii U was the lack of games. So if I'm to believe that he said we're taking this seriously and that's something we're addressing with the Switch, which we will offer a steady cadence of Nintendo games and third-party stuff, I think this thing will be okay. I don't think it's competing with the other consoles. It's competing for money that might go towards other gaming experiences. But I think anyone who invests in a Switch and likes Nintendo, I have a hunch that this will work out better than the Wii U.
It's felt like for a couple generations now that Nintendo hasn't even been trying to compete with the other consoles in the same way that they might be just trying to corner their own demographic. And
Right.
it seems like they're not even attempting to, compete with the power of the other consoles or the same audience.
Right.
Yeah, that's not their deal. They do totally different things, and that's why experiments sometimes fail. And so the Wii U is like, okay, we're going to try this thing. It didn't work. And so if they go back to Switch and have the games, then I'm also optimistic about maybe getting a better install base than the Wii U had. And I do think that not that it's a mobile system, but the option to play sort of handheld-esque is more palatable to the Nintendo audience. I think Nintendo's success has been on handheld for some time now. And so people who are already really into Nintendo games are accustomed to playing them that way. And so having that option is really smart, I think.
Yeah, so in general, I'm optimistic. I'll be pre-ordering it when I get the chance. I did not yet, but
I don't know if you still have the chance.
they'll have more in stock before they release it. That's Nintendo. Speaking of things Nintendo always does, don't they always just try to create the demand up front?
They're only selling 2 million worldwide at launch.
All right, well, I'll get it
Worldwide.
eventually. I'll find someone who got a couple.
Maybe.
There's 2 people in the office that got 2 each.
Oh, okay. Then you'll be okay.
Oh, no, I
Yeah.
want to buy one.
You'll have to do Justin a favor.
Pete,
then.
rain on your parade, Brown over here. Just
Shut up.
All right. Anyway, that was our long discussion about the Nintendo Switch. Pete, thanks so much for your hands-on insight on those Joy-Cons and those cow udders. Anyway, for those people watching, leave us your thoughts in the chat if you haven't already, or leave your thoughts in the comment below if you're watching this on YouTube or GameSpot, and let us know whether you're going to pre-order a Switch, what you think about the launch lineup, what you think about Nintendo's future. All right. Callie, we're going to have you on for this one more segment, and then we're going to kick you off for Mary Kish, her last lobby
That's fair.
of her life. Because we just fired her earlier. I'm just kidding. Mary is in no way fired. She's leaving for, greener pastures. In her eyes. I'm just joking.
No, I know. I had a joke, but it's probably not the right time.
Cows, greener pastures. Was it a callback to the milking game on the
it was
Switch?
Not. No.
You have that on your mind. Get your mind out of the gutter. All right, we're just going to do more fun segment. Get your mind out of the udder. We're doing a funner segment. What are our favorite Nintendo franchises? Because we were just talking, it was a good segue. We're talking about we would love to see Nintendo focus on games again, which it doesn't seem like they have been, but at least they're launching with a Zelda. It's one that we've played and seems really fun so far. Obviously, Zelda is an easy place to start. I've been replaying. I just beat Majora's Mask 3D again on the Nintendo 3DS. I beat Ocarina over break. I played both of those once a year. I try to. And now I'm playing through Wind Waker HD. Just in between everything else. I kind of try to play Zelda throughout the year.
What, you haven't played Skyward Sword this year?
No, not yet. This year? It's January 19th, 18th.
Yeah, dude, clock's ticking.
Yeah.
All right, I'll
Get
try
on
to
it.
play one Zelda a week. Do you like Skyward Sword?
I do. I hate the introduction to that game. The first 2 hours are the most boring 2 hours of Zelda I've ever
We're talking
played.
about Skyward Sword, right?
Yes.
Okay, because Twilight Princess doesn't have a fun beginning either. Neither does Wind Waker.
No, but Skyward Sword is like, have you played a video game before?
Yeah.
Let me tell you what a sword is. It's a thing that can cut enemies. You
But-
press the A button to swing it with your arm.
Fee, your guide, Fi, I think it's Fee. If it's
Five full
Japanese.
fun, whatever.
Yeah, she
it's
tells you
Japanese.
how to solve puzzles throughout the game.
Yeah.
I don't like her. I actually like Skyward Sword more than most people. I'm not just trying to dog you, but I don't like Fee. She tells you like, oh, maybe if you put this electric ball in that socket, it'll power it. It's like, sweet Fee, thanks.
No, games got flaws. But
If I wanted a built-in strategy guide, I would have built in a strategy guide if I was making that game.
that was my first assignment at GameSpot, was writing the game guide for Skyward Sword.
Really?
Wait, really?
It was
The
a pain
dungeons in that
ass.
game are really good. The one where
Yes.
you have the tablet up in the first section, and it's like a grid, and you're rearranging the rooms to fit them.
Yeah.
That was a really fun dungeon. in general, that game is actually really well designed, and I like the flying a lot as opposed to the sailing of Wind Waker, which I like, but
I
it's
didn't
boring after a while.
mind the motion controls. I kind of liked them.
No, with the Wii Motion Plus, it felt good.
I don't like the art style.
Whoa.
I really don't.
It's like the watercolor distance background.
I think it's just Zelda's face and like Link's face. I don't like their faces, and that's so weird. I'm like totally like Toon Link loyalist. I love Toon Link more than my life.
Okay.
But I just that's the one thing I couldn't get behind.
That's fair.
For real. I don't know why. I think it's totally not a popular opinion. I just don't like it.
Link was dreamy, but Zelda did look a little weird.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
So is Wind Waker your favorite Zelda?
No, my favorite Zelda is Majora's Mask.
Yeah. Pete, what's yours?
Link to the Past.
Guess what mine is?
I don't know, Mike. Majora's Mask.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Okay. I always have to separate it if you're doing 2D Zelda versus 3D Zelda because I think they are a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
So Link to the Past is always my runner-up choice because I love that one also.
I think Link to the Past is as close to perfect as a game I've played.
Yeah.
I'm not a critic or anything.
Not
Pete, you're a
anymore, you're
news
not.
editor. What do you think about Link to the Past? What do you think about
Oh,
Link?
we're digging into this? We're going to talk about Link to the Past?
Sure,
Okay.
go for it.
Okay, I think the game like totally nailed like immediately the presentation and how you brought it into the story, right? Like your uncle goes out to like solve some shit. You find him and he's dying. He's like, take this sword. You need to do some stuff and save the princess. You're like, all right. It's a dark and stormy night. You're like down in the dungeons doing stuff. Like you rescue the princess. Like it all just builds up so fast. And then you're left essentially in an open world, right? And it has that typical Zelda/Metroid thing where you got to find items to progress and look for new things. But you have a lot of opportunity to scour the environment for interesting stuff. So then you get to a certain point, and what do you know? You can change the game and flip it on its head and go to like a dark dimension version of the world. Awesome. You know, I love that when games do that. Symphony of the Night did it really well, but Link to the Past did it best first. And it's just a great progression of skills and abilities and equipment, culminating to a final battle of Ganon. That was pretty cool.
Twitch user Gormand was saying Link Between Worlds is actually really quite good, and I agree. Speaking of Link to the Past, I think those games are sort of similar in the way they're structured overall. But
No. That's false.
false, objectively false.
Yes.
I just said similarly structured.
Mike.
You do a light
you
world,
do know
and then
Link-
you go to a mirror world.
Wait, what structure are we talking about here? Because in Link Between Worlds, you literally buy the item or rent the items.
Okay.
that you
Yeah,
I
get.
mean,
this is
in
very
terms
different.
of, I understand. I've played both games a lot.
He's a liar.
Okay, Link Between
Not a
Worlds.
real Zelda
you buy
fan.
the items. You rent the items from whatever his name is, and then after a while you can buy them. And when you die, you lose them if you have not bought them. I'm talking about just the whole second half of the game is in a dark world.
Sure, okay,
that's all
but-
I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
That's all you're saying.
Please don't interrupt
So
me.
you meant thematically then.
No, it's not thematically. Link Between Worlds is more about the existential dread of being a character in a game, whereas Link to the Past is more about like, are any of us really permanent beings? No, we're not. And maybe there's a dark world in all of us.
You want to talk about visuals putting you
gets
off?
angry sometimes when Pete Brown calls him out.
A Link Between Worlds, I could not stand I liked like the general art style, but whenever it did the 2D I'm art moving along a wall.
Wait,
stuff,
we were rolling B-roll when you just did that.
Oh, you
Jean-Luc,
guys missed my dance.
Pete, do it again. When you were doing what?
That thing where you're like shifting around a wall to.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay. I can hear laughing. But you like the hieroglyphics
I no
part.
longer like Link Between Worlds after seeing what you just did.
You're always gonna see my dumb ass just doing that.
Link Between Worlds is one of the best Zelda games.
Bravio, that's his name.
No, yeah,
Totally
yes.
knew that in
you're
my
right.
head.
No,
From
it's
the
a
B-roll.
great game, but it's no Link to the Past.
That's not what I had said. I just said they were similar in
Well,
structure.
you
But anyway,
implied it was implied.
Majora's Mask is my favorite by far. It's my favorite game.
I really love Majora's Mask.
Mm-hmm.
I when it came out on 3DS, I went to the midnight release and then I played it like for a week straight so much that my eyes hurt. And I hadn't done
So
that in years.
You're the person that warning is for at the beginning of every game.
Exactly.
Nintendo,
like you know
why are they saying
how
this?
every Nintendo game is like the newer ones are like, you should take a break. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm the person that's for.
You're like, get out of my way. I want to
Yeah.
keep playing.
And I was like, I'm 100%ing this, and I might die doing it.
Yeah.
Leave me alone.
You won't even have a trophy to show for it.
I know. I literally took a picture of you talk to the kid, and he's like, I have nothing left to tell you, or whatever he says. And I was like, yes, I've done it. This is my achievement.
I'm seeing Just X Kaz in the YouTube chat has said several times that Ocarina is better than Majora's Mask. About like a year ago, I would have agreed. And it probably is better. But I like Majora's Mask more. And I think Majora's Mask is super weird and bold, especially considering the fact they were riding on the coattails of Ocarina, which established like 3D adventure tropes now, but at the time were really novel. Majora's Mask following up on it, like how super weird it was. You're looking at the boss fights right now. Here's Gyorg.
Fish
Yeah.
face.
Gyorg or Gyorg. You just saw Odawa before that. Here's Goat. Kelly, you were saying is one of your favorite boss fights.
I just have a lot of fun with Go. I mean, like, so when I say it's my favorite Zelda, that's more of a like personal thing than a objective critic. I mean, I don't think there's total objective.
It has serious flaws.
But I just love it thematically so much. I love the dark angle. I love how creepy and weird it is. And
Termina's a weird
I
place, yeah.
love the like side quest structure a whole lot. Like the cafe quest is, I love it.
Cafe and Anju.
Yeah.
Yeah, the game in general, I like its focus on side quests. Like you were just saying, there's only 4 main dungeons unless you count like the end and whatnot. Or unless you want to count like the Gerudo Fortress, the Pirate Fortress, like this. But
Yeah.
everything looks way less cool when he has the bunny hood on.
It's
He doesn't run
cute.
faster. I opt for the bunny hood over Epona, just going through.
I
Tournament
have
Field.
the Majora's Mask Nendoroid, and I put the bunny ears on him on purpose.
Nice.
I like it.
Yeah.
As much as I would love to talk about Zelda for like another hour, if not more, I do want to get onto other Nintendo franchises. I guess Mario's an obvious one.
Mario's an obvious
What
one.
about Odyssey? What do you think about Odyssey being set on the Switch in like a semi-real New York City? New
know.
Donk City?
New Donk City.
Badonk-a-donk.
I feel really weird about this game.
I don't feel as good as a lot of people seem to.
I mean, I don't want to say that I feel super positive. I'm not down on it. I have no idea what to expect from it. Like, how?
We're over on Bleecker. There's a short Italian man running around throwing the sentient hat at people. Just go back to the Mushroom Kingdom. What is this? What are you doing?
This is, yeah.
There's a question mark on the street crossing sign. That street was called Espresso Street, and I just noticed that for the first time.
Oh, dang.
Espresso or espresso?
It said Espresso. I wasn't mispronouncing it. He just jumps off.
I do like the idea of Mario navigating an environment like this.
Yeah.
I'm just curious how the hell it's going to make sense in context of the world that he exists in.
But it's
This
not.
looks like Guacamelee now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What do you? What's your favorite Mario game, Pete? Do you have one?
It's either it's Super Mario World.
Okay.
It has to be. I mean, I think I really like 3, like a lot of people. 2, the American version of 2 is certainly different and quirky. And obviously 64. And, I mean, there's so many good Mario games. Super Mario World is just the one that I can instantly put in and get into right away and have a hard time stop playing.
Yeah.
Do you have one?
I do not have a favorite Mario game.
I would just say
I like
Mario
that.
64.
That's
Yeah,
the correct answer. There's no favorite. They're all good.
Yeah. Mario 64 is like the nostalgia one for me because I'm very young. But yeah.
Yeah, I grew up on the N64.
Yeah.
And Mario 64 is one of my first games I beat by myself. Do you like Yoshi's Island?
I don't love Yoshi's Island.
What? Yoshi's Island's really good. I like Yoshi's Island.
Oh god.
Are you mocking me?
No, I'm mocking the
or Baby Mario?
Baby Mario.
Well, clarify next time, please, because I just got really
You
offended.
do sound very similar to him.
Yeah.
It's true.
You should do a cosplay.
Oh god. All right. What about Star Fox? Its last outing was not the best. Star Fox Zero. You reviewed it. What'd you think of it? You loved it.
I liked it better at the end than I did at the beginning, but it missed the mark. Star Fox 64 on 3DS is the best Star Fox game, hands down. They ported that game and put a lot of love into like brushing it up. And I'd love to see Nintendo revisit that series, but I also would be okay if they never touched it again.
Okay.
Because I don't think. Okay, let me put it this way. If Miyamoto is in control of the series, I don't want him to make another Star Fox game because he is admittedly hell-bent on, introducing new ideas and changing things. He doesn't want to do the same thing over and over, which I cannot blame him, but that's what people want from Star Fox. They want an experience that feels familiar, that just has different challenges and a new setting and new events. I think most Star Fox fans will agree. Nintendo 64 got it right. Everything else is not quite there.
And of course, the peak was Star Fox Adventures.
Ben Howard this morning was telling me how much he loves that game.
I like that game. It's one of my. I think it's underappreciated.
Did you ever play Star Fox Assault?
Yes,
The Namco made.
that was
shooter
right. That was the
on
next
GameCube?
one after Adventures. Yeah,
Yeah.
I did play it. That was more like a Rogue Squadron-ish game, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I don't remember. Did you like it?
I didn't play a whole lot of it.
Because you can go into third person on foot.
Yeah.
It was weird.
Yeah.
Are you a Star Fox fan, Kelly?
No, I don't know a lot about Star Fox.
No?
I played a little bit of 64.
64 is great. And then a bunch of people are. John Smith just goes Metroid. So I guess that's
Yeah.
Oh, I
as
guess
good a
we're talking
segue
about
as
Metroid
any.
now?
Yeah.
Let's do
John
it.
Smith on YouTube, if that's his real name, just said Metroid. Yeah, that is the one that keeps getting brought up throughout the Wii U life cycle. And now that the Switch is coming out, we were wondering when is Metroid going to come back, if it is. Because Federation Force on the 3DS was not too promising.
This is
Yeah.
kind of falling into the same issue that I described just a second ago, right? Where Nintendo really wants to do new things with the franchises they have. Zelda is kind of an exception, but also it falls into line because Breath of the Wild is this sort of new open world experience, but it's also a return to form. It's kind of similar to the first game in some ways. For Metroid, people want quote unquote Metroidvania, or as I prefer, Castleroid. And
Sounds like a weird steroid.
I know.
It's not good.
there are so many games that make that style now. So could Nintendo really make another? Could they justify investing in another game that's just going to follow in the footsteps of the games that followed in the footsteps of its game? Mm-hmm. If you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that might be just too redundant for them.
It's going to start using its, like the people that followed it as inspiration now. Is that even like a viable thing to do?
So, I mean, I would argue that yes, it is. I think because the gameplay is one portion of Metroid, or should I say the structure of the game, but the gameplay itself is important, and it's tied to Samus directly. And Samus is a character that people really like. She was not handled appropriately in Other M.
Yeah.
So I think the Metroid Prime series is great. That
Yeah.
handled her really well. But I think people need a new Metroid game to really just like hone in on the fact that Samus is a fucking badass, and she is in an adventure that you all want. So I just play to your fans' requests, Nintendo. That's the only thing that's the advice they need, and they just need to like follow through on that.
I might be in the minority here, but I would actually rather see a more Metroid Prime-ish Metroid.
I would be
than a
happy
2D
with another
Metroid.
one as well.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
I think just Super Metroid is, like you mentioned, like I don't think you're going to get better than Super Metroid in that style of game.
No, but I mean, Metroid Prime even kind of, it peaked in the first game. I thought, like, I felt like it kind of
Yeah.
was diminishing with every new release.
I like Corruption more than Echoes. I think Echoes the one that people didn't like as much because of the whole like dark shadow light play. It was actually kind of a stressful game. I like Corruption a lot though. But yeah, I agree. Metroid Prime I think is the best one. It's kind of like a Metal Gear Solid. I like Metal Gear Solids less as they go on. Except for I like 5 a lot. It has nothing to do with Nintendo, but it's a tangent.
How dare you?
Yeah. But anyway, Metroid Prime would be fantastic. What are the franchises? There's a lot of Nintendo franchises.
Can I talk about Animal Crossing now?
Oh yeah, you want to talk about Animal Crossing?
I do. I
Oh,
really do.
sweet. Yes message on
Yes.
YouTube just gave you the perfect. Is that you? Do you have your phone under the table?
Oh yeah,
Let's
I'm just
talk about
tight. Let's talk about. I'm also the person who asked about Undertale, which it would totally not come to the Switch because it requires PC hardware. Anyway,
So sell me an Animal Crossing,
so
as if people haven't tried to already.
Animal Crossing is basically just a game full of chores. But what I like about it is it's one of my like de-escalating my anxiety games. You just check on it for 15 minutes a day, and you're slowly building up to something really nice. Like you can build up a really beautiful town, or if you want to have as much money as humanly possible. And so it's like a slow burn, rewarding like feedback system of a game. It's really it's unique in that way, and I really enjoy it for that. I didn't like City Folk on Wii. I think it's pretty good on handheld. I loved Wild World. I think I played Wild World every day for 2 years straight. Like a big problem. And then when New Leaf came out, I lost my mind. So and then I lost my save, and that now I haven't played it, and I'm really sad.
I've never played a minute of any Animal Crossing game.
It's so great.
I played the original on GameCube, and I couldn't get into it too much. But what I do love about the series is that it's like your town is persistent. So if you boot up your GameCube save now, your town is in shambles. Everyone is depressed. Nothing
Yeah.
is good because you haven't played it in 10 years.
It's on fire. Everyone hates you.
I think that's a really cool idea.
Yeah.
You
But-
come back and the town's for like Pete Brown. That's a name I haven't heard in a long time. And
Yeah.
they're just dead.
If I didn't have as many games to play as I do, my whole plan is to get it on my Japanese language 3DS because it has the furigana, like the readings written above all the kanji. So it's really good for learning kanji. Which
What?
is-
Basically, it'll take a word spelled out in one alphabet, but then give you this succinct but harder to learn representation from a different alphabet above that word.
so it's like,
Sounds
because
intuitive.
it's for all ages, kids don't know know all the kanji. I think you need to know 3,000 to be fluent or something. It's a lot. But Yeah, I think the main selling point for me is that it is slowly rewarding. Like the best part is I can come back to my town. There's an ordinance because you're the mayor in New Leaf, and so you can be like, oh yeah, the flowers will never die in my town. Make it so, and then you come back and your town's still beautiful. And it fills me with so much joy. And then the animals are your friends.
Don't talk to Justin Haywald. You guys will just lose the entire day talking about Animal Crossing. That's all he ever talks about.
It's true.
That
I
and
love it.
P-Cross.
Yes.
Oh man, don't even get me
Oh,
started.
jeez.
Did you play Pokemon Picross?
No. Oh, man. What did we miss any? I mean, we missed a bunch, but
Yeah.
those are the ones we want to talk about. Any others you want to touch on? We didn't?
I do want to say how excited I am for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
Yeah.
Because they're adding a bunch of stuff, and they're adding 2 items like in Double Dash, which Double Dash is always everyone's favorite.
Yeah, it is.
So,
me.
yeah, the GameCube Mario Kart game, if you are not familiar. But so they're adding a bunch of new features, and Mario Kart is like the one game that I will challenge anyone to. I'll get very aggressive. So I'm excited for that.
I want to see new Pilot Wings.
Yeah. People in the
Oh.
chat were mentioning that too.
I didn't love the one on 64 or the weird one like Pilot Wings Resort on 3DS, but the original Super Nintendo one was pitch perfect, I think.
Yeah.
Get it? Pitch, plain.
Jesus.
Thank you.
Is that
It was y'all perfect.
Oh. But with the new controls, I think you could integrate like that weird rumble feature pretty well to like mimic the feeling of like rudders or engines failing or like different stuff like that. I'm grasping at straws here, but
There's a bunch of people. Yatsobu on the YouTube chat is one of a few people saying Advance Wars. Did you ever play Advance Wars?
oh yeah, Intelligent Systems, the company, the studio behind Fire Emblem games, they made Advance Wars, and those games were really solid. Fire Emblem like sort of has supplanted it, but I think there's definitely room. And people are making homages to that series now, which says it's about time Nintendo funds another one of those. That's a good call.
I was gonna say I did not play Fates yet still, but I liked Awakening a lot. I'm not too psyched for Fire Emblem Warriors.
Yeah,
man.
I thought Hyrule Warriors was fun for like a day.
yeah.
I was really into Warriors games when I was in high school, and so I felt like, I am the exact market for Fire Emblem Warriors. I still have to play Fates though.
Yeah, me too. Both of them.
Yeah, 3. There's 3.
All 3 of them. That's what I meant.
Just play Revelations. Just play
play
Revelations. You'll be
yeah.
fine.
Okay. Cool. So yeah, obviously there's a lot of Nintendo franchise we did not touch on. It's not just Nintendo anymore, but 20th anniversary of Symphony of the Night's coming up. I know there have been Castlevania games on Nintendo platforms before. Symphony of the Night's one of my favorite games. I would love to talk about Castlevania extensively. Maybe next month for the 20th anniversary of Symphony of the Night. But anyway, if you guys have any franchise you wanted to talk about, leave it in the chat right now. I'll try to call it out. But also in the comments below if you're watching on YouTube or on GameSpot, and feel free to tweet at any one of us. Tell us why we should have talked about, I don't know, P-Cross more.
Yeah.
Yeah, or Balloon Fight more.
Or Balloon Fight. Or Nintendo Land. Anyway. All right.
WarioWare. That's probably one we could have talked about.
People were mentioning
1-2
WarioWare
Switch
as well.
is basically Wario.
Yeah, that's true.
They should have just ran with it, but
Someone in the chat said, Pete, you don't know how to play Donkey Kong. They said
What?
GameSpot doesn't know how to play
But
Donkey
they
Kong.
were specifically attacking you, I think.
oh, Mark Walton gave Tropical Freeze a bum review because he said it was too hard, or he said it was hard to keep a decent flow, which is necessary for a platformer. Mark Walton was wrong. That game is great.
Never played it. Oh my God. Wow. That's horrifying. All right, moving on. Callie, thank you so much for coming on your first episode of Lobby. I'm sure we'll see you around a lot.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to kick you off for Mary Kish's last
It's fair.
time on the lobby.
Tell her I love her.
Yes. We will see you back in the bullpen.
Okay.
And thanks so much for coming on.
Get back to work.
Mary Kish is coming in. In the meantime, people are saying, oh, it's a Mark Walton throwback. I met him a couple times. I met him at Gamescom.
He's a British boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the one who reviewed Bayonetta 2.
Yes. Gave it
Right?
a 10.
Yeah. Mary, are you in the 10 out of 10 club?
For Bayonetta.
No, just have you given it 10 out of 10 before?
I wanted to.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Not on
Oh,
my
just
watch.
Stardew Valley. Mary, if you guys haven't read it yet, Mary wrote a review for Stardew Valley. You should go read it.
I can write.
It's good. Mary, what's up? This is your last time in the lobby. Well, I mean, like,
What the hell?
as a GameSpot employee, we'll probably have you on as a guest at some point in the future.
Possible.
Yeah.
Hey.
So you're always behind the camera a lot, doing stuff,
Yeah.
producing this show, and obviously you've become pretty huge staple at the GameSpot office. And you've been here, what, 3 years now?
Yeah. going on 3.5 years. I was a contractor for a really long time, and started the lobby's first iteration with Danny over like about 3 years ago, which is crazy to think.
Wow.
Yeah, and watched it grow and watch it become what it is. And now I pretty much do it all behind the scenes with Jean-Luc behind the TriCaster and Tay kind of helping running the live show. So it's cool to see it from both angles. And of all the iterations, this one's probably one of my favorites. I like talking to the audience more. So this is good. This is going to be good stuff.
Yeah, they've been pretty involved today. We have a lot of people in the chats. I did want to bring you on. We are talking today about just Nintendo in general, but I wanted to touch on our favorite Nintendo consoles. Figured this would be a good one to bring you on because you had a different take on it. You were going to talk about the Nintendo 3DS. We can get into that.
Portable.
Yeah. So Nintendo platform might be the more accurate description for this segment. And we have giveaways and stuff later to get back into. But yeah, I'll start with you, Mary, because like I said, you're not always on camera. This is the last time. So hit me with your favorite Nintendo platform. I kind of just prefaced it.
Right. Yeah. It would have to be the 3DS, which has just been so monumental to my life these last few years. It's like my go-to. I put it in a bag and I take it with me. It's just done such a great job at having really quality games. And you guys already talked about all the really good Zeldas, which are on the 3DS, right? But including like A Link Between Worlds, which was GameSpot's Game of the Year 2013. So you're talking really high quality games, some in which you can only get on the 3DS. And then in addition to that, I would say it's the most social portable handheld that you can find right now. From games like Super Smash Bros. To Mario Kart, it lets you play with a pool of friends even if they don't own the game. And I think that's really cool and innovative, and I think every console should follow that, right? I think if your friend has it, you should be able to play with them and enjoy that game at that time.
A better example in Street Pass.
Yeah.
Holy shit. That was such a smart move by Nintendo.
It's really fun, and I don't know if we utilize it as much as like Japan does. Like, it is incredible if you go overseas and then you like check your 3DS and you get check-ins from people all over the world.
Yeah.
All over the world who love their 3DS, and they give you a little message and they have little hats and
they
like,
live in your 3DS. So
and
you
they're
can literally open it up.
And I've contained a lot of humans in there.
These are people that I was near at one point in my life.
I like that. This little reminder that there are other people that like the same thing that you do. And to the point where, you know, with a lot of Pokemon games and other games now, you can like fight with them on the street, right? You can like challenge kids and stuff.
To fist fights.
That's right. Especially if you lose. I remember like being at a party, like a kind of like one of those like lame parent parties, right? But one of them had a young kid who was like super shy, wouldn't talk to anyone, had a 3DS. We played 3DS games. Like, it was
Sick.
A very social interaction that I enjoyed. It was a way for me to connect with another dude that I would never been able to connect with. And then on top of that, they did a really good connection with the Wii U. I was able to play Monster Hunter 3 and connect onto the Wii U and play online with another person. Awesome. So I'm playing Monster Hunter 3, and then I maybe have to go somewhere. I hop on a bus, and I can continue leveling up my character. I'd never seen that before. I know you could do that. And that's such a precursor to what it's doing now, right? Which is play at home and then take it with you and keep playing. So 3DS is very near and dear to my heart. It's funny, like somebody just asked me the other day, like, what's the best handheld in your opinion? And it's gotta be that 3DS. Like, it's just the most social, friendly handheld there is that lets you play other games with other people and talk about games with other people.
I love the 3DS primarily for its library. I think the amount of awesome games on there that you can't play on any other platform is unreal.
And you got to include the DS library with that too, because it's backwards compatible.
And like, not to mention, like you said, all like older Zelda games, older like Metroid games are on there.
Yep.
Well, in general, it's one of my favorite handhelds too. It is my favorite handheld that I've ever had. But I'm just playing like Majora's Mask 3D, Ocarina of Time 3D lately. Between those re-releases, between the digital library, it's pretty unreal.
Yeah, it's so broad too. Like really hardcore games like Bravely Default that take hours and hours and hours to play, or maybe you're just like more into a platformer, and then you should play Shovel Knight, which is like such a rad indie game. Like, you're talking about a huge specter of games for all sorts of different people.
Plus, it's just comfortable as hell, especially the XL. I mean, the original one would like cut into your palms a little bit, but I could play for a long time on the XL now with the rounded corners and everything. It's just the size is perfect. You can bring it anywhere, but it's also big enough to not feel like you're squinting. 3DS is great. What is your favorite console, Pete?
Do you want to know?
Yeah, I want to. Do I want to know or
All
do
right. Do you really want to know?
I really want to know, Peter Brown.
It's the stupid Nintendo, the Super Nintendo.
surprise, surprise.
The
If it's not collecting dust on Peter Brown, I don't care about
Actually,
it.
it's a Super Famicom to be specific.
What is that?
This is a Japanese one. Yeah. No. Okay, just talk about an excellent library of games like Super
So
Nintendo.
cultured.
Yeah, Super Nintendo's got it.
Have you been to Japan?
You can go to Japan.
Yeah. Wait, it's not a company?
I thought it was just like a thing people made up. Anyway, shut up. Excellent library, right? A lot of the things people say about 3DS, you could also say about the Super Nintendo. But one of the things I really loved just growing up as a kid was that the Super Nintendo seemed to just nail like the logical conclusion of like 2D pixelated games at the time. Everything the NES wanted to be, the Super Nintendo was, and then some. And it even branched out and introduced 3D gaming in certain ways as well, like Star Fox, for example. Totally unprecedented for a console game. So there are a lot of reasons why that system will always be near and dear to my heart. But, you know, the games that I love about it, the ones that I play on Virtual Console, like those originated on Super Nintendo. And so its legacy is still felt today. So I'll always remember it as my favorite.
What's a game you still go back to?
Super Metroid. Hands down, easy.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 6. Great.
I've been meaning to play that.
Or
for
I mean
about
3 in
10
America.
years now. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Chrono Trigger, you a fan?
oh my God, Chrono Trigger's that is one of the
He's gonna cry.
no, it's that game. It was just the perfect storm of creative visions and people working on it. Like, have you guys played Chrono Trigger before?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like it a lot.
Yeah. I don't know. Like me, did you find that like once you start playing it, it's just really hard to stop playing? Like from the beginning of the game, not like a random session, but whenever I start playing Chrono Trigger, the soundtrack, the series of events, like it feels great all over again every time.
Yeah, the storytelling in general is unreal.
Yeah.
The fact that you can
Music
finish
is
it how many different ways?
The music is
Incredible.
insane.
I like to listen to the music on like road trips and
Yeah.
stuff. Like that's got a fantastic soundtrack.
I'm listening to it right now.
Plus the characters in general.
Sing it
are-
for me, Peter.
I like the characters in that game
Sing
too.
it. Characters are really good. Except that robot, that damn robot.
Oh, what's his name?
Robo.
Chibi Robo.
Robo. And the frog.
Yeah, I was
yeah,
gonna. We had kind of brought it up earlier, but mine's the N64. It's what I grew up on. Kind of came of age, so to speak. Ocarina. I remember we got Ocarina of Time like day one in '98. Would it have been 98? Between that, Majora's Mask, playing GoldenEye, playing Perfect Dark, the rare shooters. Before they started working on or when they were working on like Banjo-Kazooie and Tooie after that. But yeah, I don't know. I still remember playing Ocarina. I have 4 older siblings, and they were always the ones buying the games. I would just play whatever they got. And then Ocarina was the one that I remember I would always get to like the water temple, and my brother would have to do it for me just because, I don't know, I forget how old I was. In 98, I would have been really young. But
Too stupid to do the water temple.
still too stupid to do the water temple. But I remember that was like, it was weird that really was, once I beat Ocarina, I felt like I could beat anything. But yeah, there's Goob. Fact, Mike became a man thanks to the N64. I don't know what you think I did to that console, Goob. But
Expansion port, huh?
yeah. Neo Jet Angel.
What?
The N64 hard drive is pretty okay. The Perfect Dark was amazing according to Neo Jet Angel. I completely agree. Not Perfect Dark Zero on the 360. That game is bullshit. Perfect Dark in general on the N64 is fantastic. The N64 I still play. You ever play Road Rash?
Yeah.
That's a game that
on Genesis though. Back when it was cool.
Nah, dude. It came.
Nice, Peter.
It was the thing to play on N64.
With the licensed soundtrack, I believe.
On Road Rash? No, it had its own thing.
Road Rash at one point, in like the most modern version of those games, had a licensed soundtrack.
Yeah, the Xbox One version. There's no Xbox One version, I know. Yeah, N64 is by far my favorite. Might be my favorite console ever. And I love the Super Nintendo. I didn't really grow up on the Super Nintendo. We had one when I was younger. And even before that, when I was even younger, we had an NES. But I never really played those as much because I wasn't old enough to do those things on my own. I was just a wee tot.
Tiny little
Just
Mike.
a sparkle in my father's eye.
He was the same proportions,
Yeah.
just this big.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just people put me in their pockets. I had to jump from button to button on the controller.
That's so cute.
I sucked at Mario. I never got past that first jump. I always fell.
They're probably ones that people wish that we had said that we didn't bring up, though.
Yeah. So in terms of launch lineups, I think the GameCube wasn't it really good? Was it Super Mario Sunshine? Is that it? That was a really
great
good launch
lineup.
lineup.
Luigi's Mansion, I think.
Luigi's Mansion.
I forget, man. It's
The first time I played a GameCube was in a McDonald's. Remember they had those kiosks set up?
I do not
Did your
remember
McDonald's
that.
have it? People will know what I'm talking about. If you're in the chat and you remember playing GameCube at McDonald's, tell
Validate
me.
Mike.
Yes, please. Prove to them I'm not crazy. No, I played it. I played like Luigi's Mansion. Super Smash Bros. Melee was unreal on that. Wind
That was
Waker,
like-
Resident Evil 4.
Metroid
Oh,
Prime.
Damn,
yeah.
GameCube had a really good library.
GameCube to me was like the place the cool friend had, like that's where you went, and that he had a GameCube and everyone went over to their house, like into the basement.
Wait, they didn't carry it using the handle on the back of the system over to your
no,
house?
I don't remember the handle ever being
Hey guys,
used.
just strutting down the street with my
I
GameCube.
don't remember having a handle. It was just a cube.
No, it wasn't.
It was a cube.
You're insane. It's got a handle in the back.
I never used it.
It had a
No
handle,
one did,
yeah.
but it had a handle.
It was like one big plastic brass knuckle. Yeah! Eat it. Eat it. Get some chicky nibblers and then go play some Luigi's Mansion.
Oh man,
Chicky Nibblers, the
Chicky
safe
Nibs.
No.
copyright infringement. Name
yeah, I
for-
can't say what they really are.
I don't think
I used to
anybody
have I used
calls
to
them
get a
Chicky
Big
Nibs.
Mac and then just fucking slay in Super Smash Bros. Melee. I used to like people used to come up and put instead of putting quarters on the console, you just put a little chicken nugget, and then I'd have to eat it, and then we'd play, and I'd win every time. I never had to pay for a chicken nugget my whole life because I was really good with Marth in Super Smash Bros. Melee. And
Cool.
they say games can't pay the bills.
He was like the bully of McDonald's that ruled the
Yeah.
kiosk.
Mikey McDonald.
Mikey McDonald's, they called him.
I push open the door and like a buzzweed floats by. Is it buzzweed? You guys know what I'm talking about when there's duels in the
Drugs?
Wild
I
West?
never know what you're talking about anymore.
I never do either. So that's the GameCube. What about Game Boy? Game Boy Color. Not that they're the same
Oh,
thing,
yeah.
but Game Boy Color, Link's Awakening, Game Boy Advance,
You also forgot about Oracle of Seasons, Oracle of Ages.
Oracle of Seasons, Oracle of Ages.
Was
Those are
Capcom
really good
made Zelda
games.
games?
Yeah, and they were good. Link's Awakening was,
Game Boy originally.
Boy, right.
Link's Awakening DX
and
was
they added
Game
the
Boy
Color Dungeon on Game Boy Color. That's a really weird Zelda, but it's really good. Tumbleweed, thank you.
What did you call them? Buzzweed?
Buzzweeds. I'm thinking BuzzFeed.
Sparkin.
420 Buzzweed. There's two more. All right.
What is that?
Anyway.
Hey, you kids want some Buzzweed?
Such a fitting. Dude, Buzzweed's legal here now.
Yeah.
In like a year.
Tell me about it.
Like you're getting arrested for carrying around all that buzzweed around.
I'm just trying to play some GameCube games. Jesus. What other consoles are we missing? I don't know. The Wii. The Wii U.
The Wii was good.
People
You
might
guys-
not
the
say the
Nintendo
Wii U
Revolution?
is their,
Virtual Boy.
their favorite, but the
Virtual
Wii
Boy.
is acknowledged as one of the greatest, revolutions. I mean, it just completely took the world by storm, and everybody's mom had a Wii, and they all did all their exercising on it. It was huge. It was a phenomenon, and I remember. My parents, who hadn't played a game in years, were playing Wii bowling and thought it was the best. And to me, that was worth it. Like, that was cool.
Imagine your dad like, bullshit, that was a strike and you know it.
Yeah, dude, he wasn't even standing either. You know how you played Wii U and you were like this, and then you'd be like, "Oh, that's bullshit." It's like this shitty person, but it was a fun family game, and people liked playing it together, and it did that really well. And you have to acknowledge that. That was a really cool
Guess we
time.
have to.
I was
You
the
have
Norm
to, Peter.
Duke of
Alright.
Wii bowling. Do you guys know who Norm Duke is? He's that famous bowler who could do the things through the chairs and with the towel and then off people's heads.
What
you don't know who Norm
famous
Duke
thing
is.
with the towel?
Damn, would you look at the time?
That's like saying you're a football fan and don't know who like Jerry Rice is. Norm Duke, dude. The Duke.
No one said we were bowling fans, so
Just talked about bowling. I didn't bring it up. You did. All right. Anyway,
I don't think
Virtual Boy,
anybody
what about that?
brags about bowling.
Virtual Boy
it
had
looks like an Imperial probe droid.
it had a great. You want to talk about Virtual Boys? I playing games in weird environments. I saw the Virtual Boy first at a Blockbuster. They had kiosks there. And like a month later, they were selling them because no one wanted it for
They're at Burger King's,
$30.
too.
Well, that's a lie. A great shooter from Hudson Soft. I know you guys all love Hudson Soft properties.
That was
Name one.
Bomberman.
Oh
You
shit!
dick.
take that.
Piece of
He was ready.
Thought you were making stuff up now.
Mario Clash was an interesting game. There was the Wario had a platformer. They had a boxing game on there that was basically Punch Out in 3D. It was great. Telero Boxer.
Yeah.
Oh man, you guys don't even know.
No.
Speaking of
I
boxing
don't.
games,
Come to my house. I have one. You can play it.
speaking of boxing
Is
games
it a
on
McDonald's?
Nintendo, there's a bar in San Francisco called Soda Popinski's, and if you beat Mike Tyson in to Punch Out, you get a bottle of champagne.
They discontinued that, I thought.
Oh,
They still doing it?
probably because of Dan Riker. Didn't he do like 12 times?
He could do
Our
it
friend over
like
at
in his
Giant Bomb.
sleep. Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else you want to touch on? Favorite consoles? Nothing? Did you yeah, we talked about them all, I think. What about the Switch? What do you think of the Switch?
Not a lot
No.
of people talked about Wii U, honestly. Kind of came and went real quick.
Great library,
fast.
crap hardware. Enough said.
Great library. Few
Not
good,
big
few good games.
library.
No.
I think that was their problem.
Yeah. All right. What about the NES, the original one? Go back to it.
What about it?
Tell me
What
about it.
about it?
You
Tell
have
you
have
about
like
it?
you have like 6 collector's editions unopened
Oh God, would you shut up?
in a.
I was
dry
born the same
storage
year
room.
as the NES, and I had an older brother, and he bought all the games, and I loved it, and it was my introduction into video games.
Video games.
So
I
Cool.
think a lot of our introduction to video games was probably the NES, right? Like that was the one where you saw somebody else play something. Well, at least most people at this table, I was too young, but that was like where you saw people play cool things and said, I want to play cool things too.
I'm known for loving Metal Gear, and the first one on NES was like my first experience with the series. I could never get past the second screen in that freaking game, but I played it all the time.
Dude, the bomb random
It
walls.
seems so cool.
Trial and error.
For me, it was getting around the dogs.
Oh. I played for like 2 minutes and then realized it was a bad idea. Not that it's
Bad idea.
yeah.
What about the new Mini too? The little guy.
Classic.
It's cool. The
It sold
controller
out real
cables are
fast.
too short.
I saw that people around the world have mentioned such short cables.
Yeah. Everyone is selling extension cables
Short
for
cables.
it. It's like, but Nintendo's not having a problem selling this thing, so that doesn't really matter. The game selection could be better, but that's splitting hairs.
You said there was like trademarks or copyright patents
Nintendo-
filed for Super Nintendo Classic.
Nintendo did something to recertify its design of the Super Nintendo controller, so it might stand a reason that we'll see them make something with that controller, be it something for Switch for Virtual Console or a Super Nintendo Classic, which I think would be in their best interest.
Cool. All right. Well, that was our discussion about not just our favorite Nintendo console, but every Nintendo console. If you're watching in the Twitch, YouTube, or GameSpot chats, let us know. You have been. It's been great. And if you're watching this on YouTube or GameSpot afterwards, let us know in the comments below. Thanks so much. Mary, that was your
It was
last
okay.
lobby segment.
Yeah. I'd have a lot, so this was a good one.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me on.
Well,
Thank you guys.
So you've been here 3 years.
Yes,
Our
I've been
friend
here.
Rob Handler just walked in the studio. Rob came in early yesterday and was working tirelessly and been
He
secretly.
told me he was working on a robot that, now that I think about it, that doesn't make much sense.
He has been G-chatting us all secretly and getting clips together and working on a fitting send-off, at least for our for your presence on our live show. So we have something that Rob has been working to put together. And
He's fiddling
let's
with
air
audio
it.
currently.
Rob's
Hold on
in here
one
turning on the
second.
audio, but Jean-Luc is gonna.
Can.
There we go.
Oh,
All right,
All right. I think we're good.
Jean-Luc, roll it.
Where is she? I have no idea. Really? I can't believe I'm gonna do this. Sawsbuck, I choose you.
You're probably asking yourself, Mary, what kind of video is this? Here's a list of things GTA does really well. Gangster shit, heists, strippers, decent hip-hop, submarines, strippers, rednecks, gas cans, sharks, bicycles, redneck strippers. This week on new releases, a little something for everyone. Remember, there's no wrong way to twerk. It's so darn cute, I just might die. Collect red stars to make your shit fly.
Xbox One versus PlayStation 4 showdown. We've got 4 consoles set up here.
I was gonna say, if I pass the baton, you guys could see a squeaky bear that Mary has.
Cutscene, little.
I'm a playing Dead Rising 3. Eat my teddy
We are now
bear.
sharing the
I
baton.
love you.
And I got a lot of people joined with me. I have a Mary Kish, an Eddie McCoo, and then Big Mary Kish. Oh, see ya. That's kind of like, if you can imagine my.
We live? We doing this thing?
So live.
Welcome to Megabit, everyone. It's me, Pete, with Mary back.
Magic puppet. Peter, you have to join me.
I can't do it. No, it's all you.
Up, I'm looking down. I'm working on my
A dazzling place I never knew. That's all I got. I can't do this.
And I'm Mary, and welcome to another GameSpot Plays. I'm here with the lovely Kevin Van Ord.
Aw.
How often do you say "wee" when you play a game?
I don't really say it. I think it in a way.
We're going to be playing Trine 3. No,
Where is the camera?
Donnie Dwyer here with Mary Kish. Yeah, tag that jerk.
it was worth it. GTA on PC hasn't been out for too long, but the mods are already starting to come out, Rob. He's not allowed to do it when he's watching.
I'm trying not to. Put your hands down. Not the car. Not the. God damn it!
You think I don't know about Cindy? Happy 4th, Jake.
Happy 4th to you as well.
What a fantastic time we live in.
What a pressure. It's the 4th of July as well. My first TGS, but it's my first time in Japan, so I have like zero idea of what I'm in for. I'm in over my head. Exactly where you're able to try out the different pellet guns that they have there. Hey guys, it's Wednesday, October 28th. I'm Mary Kish, and you're watching GameSpot News. Batman Arkham Knight is going to be the first in the Rocksteady Studios trilogy to get an M for mature rating, because they're going to say fuck in it. Hey, Mary here with the GameSpot News update. Today it was announced that Sean is a huge motherfucker.
Our second contestant is Zero Suit Mary Kish.
Yeah, I'm ready. What was that?
Guys, we got some construction downstairs. We hit a load-bearing wall. We need to get out of here right now, all right? All right?
When you have Xbox Gold or PlayStation Plus.
Oh my God.
Josh, what do I do?
You're gonna have to jump.
Let's be clear, you're no way of sound, mind, and body. And stop it! 6, 3, 2, 4, 8. Eat it, Josh! You're dead! What's up, guys? We are so excited to start this new series with you. This is Resident Knievel. Oh no! I killed a chicken on accident! F? I got an F?
Are you that surprised?
All right, guys, here it is. And E3 2014. Right now, there's some creative genius going on. It speaks for itself.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of magic behind the scenes.
I think it's probably the second game in the history of GameSpot that have made our managers have required specified times that we're allowed to play it.
The new plan is luck, lag, and bullshit.
Luck, lag, bullshit.
It's become the quintessential game that we cannot put down. In fact, there's been rules in place because we play it so much that we're starting to get in trouble. Gaming is just the best. I mean, where else can you put on a headset and call someone a newbie needs to your and feel really superior about it? It's awesome. It's such a good game. Play it right now. Go. Spend it the way you want to do it. As Joe Dirt would say, life's a garden. Dig it. I'm gonna get out of here. I am so sweaty. That was really sad. Thank you.
Yeah, so that's Rob Handlery. The least, he could do or anyone else could do. Send you off. You've become...
Come here, Rob.
Yeah, Rob, come over on set.
It's your mug over
Grab
here.
a mic quick.
That video sucked to make.
They're really hard to make.
Really hard to make. Mary has done them all, and obviously someone had to do it, so.
Thank you, Rob.
You bet.
I thought you were making a robot. Come here.
Yeah, obviously, Mary is going on to do some new stuff. She will have more news in the coming weeks or months or whenever she announces her next adventure. But we're all really sad to see you go. I know, like, Pete, you've been at GameSpot for a while. I haven't been here long, but you've become a mentor to me, coming to our video team and everything. And I'm sad to see you go. The office is not going to be nearly as fun, or we're going to have to work really hard to try to keep the energy up with you gone.
I love this place, and I'm going to miss every one of you guys. It's going to be the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. And I love you guys.
We love you too, Mary. You've been the highlight of working. This is really hard. Working with you has just been incredible, and I'm so happy to call you a friend. So, and you've grown in like immeasurable ways over the years, which is more than I can say for some people. And you just consistently impress me. So,
jeez, I was a scrappy little nobody. I fought my way in here, and I'm just so glad I was able to work with you guys. And I'm so excited. I just love GameSpot so much. And I think 2017 is going to be a really good year. And I'm bummed I'm not going to be there with you guys. But I'll be with you in spirit. I'll thank you guys every step of the way. And I'm so glad I got the time I did with you. So, that video. I said that's my favorite part like 8 times. Got all the good ones. Whew.
Yeah, it's gonna suck to see you go. We'll have you back as often as possible, obviously.
Yeah, I always want to come back. I want to see what you guys are doing. I want to watch you. I'll watch everything you do.
Yeah, well, it's been fun to start new projects with you between Dead Air, the podcast we did for a while, starting work on the lobby, producing it with you, and obviously Resident Knievel is always a highlight of our week. We will be continuing that.
That's right. I had a lot of people ask me what will happen with Knievel, and we made a promise, and we're going to keep it. And I will come back and finish Knievel. So I'm going to just come back once a week, and we're just going to keep making it. So you can expect episodes of Knievel every week until we finish all of them. That is the plan.
I'll be sneaking into the office somehow.
Yeah.
Break you in through the air vents.
Security can't stop me. No, they can.
All right, well, as always, Mary, thank you so much for helping produce this episode, as well as pretty much every lobby episode ever.
Thank you guys.
For being behind the scenes as well as on camera, for doing all you do. Can't really sum it up in 10 seconds at the end of an episode, but obviously we'll see you here the rest of the week. We'll have you back as often as possible. If the chat is any indication, the audience is going to miss you a ton as well. I'm sure you've gotten a lot of best wishes over Twitter and whatnot, and we're really excited to see you announce what you're doing next and everything. So we know you'll kick ass, like Rob said in the video, and we're looking forward to seeing what you do.
Thank you guys. And thank you guys for watching, and thank you guys for supporting the lobby and all the shows that we produce. We put our blood, sweat, and tears into them. And there's a lot of people that you don't see working back there to do things, like Jean-Luc and Eric Tay and a lot of other people. So a lot of people work really hard here to make things that you guys like. So it's good to acknowledge them.
Richard Lee,
the behind the camera extraordinaire, who's been running the camera for the lobby for like ever. So there's like no lighting that's done that he hasn't touched. Jake Decker does a lot of behind the scenes as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like I said, your shoes can never be filled, but we'll do our best to keep his site energetic and doing creative stuff in the meantime when you're gone.
Keep that energy up, Mike. Just
I'll
do
try.
Like calisthenics like every before every show.
Well,
Make sure you get it.
I do my
Let's get
push-ups.
Rob a wig.
I do my hourly push-up. That'd
Rob
be
can
great.
wear
We're gonna
a
weekend
wig.
at Bernie. Well, we're not gonna kill you, but we'll carry around like a dummy with your wig on.
We have a dummy in the office. It's not in the highlight reel.
Which was not in the highlight reel. That was actually you doing all those stunts.
Yeah, I did every stunt here since I was here. So
All right. Well, Mary, do you want to do the honor of closing the episode out then?
sure.
All right. We'll let you do it.
Jeez, I've never done this before. I'll probably mess it up. Thank Thank you guys for watching The Lobby. This is our weekly show about video games every Wednesday at 11 a.m. now. And we're so glad you guys could join us. And you guys make this show possible. And we want your opinion and we want to know what you think. So message us, message Mike Mahardy on Twitter, or you guys can leave a note in the comments so that we know what you guys want to see more of, because we do it for you. And I'm going to miss you guys. Have a great day. Bye. Really